The Crow is on my list of favorite movies. The Crow was the reason I watched Dark City, which is also one of my favorite movies. Then the director made I, Robot. That doesn't matter, The Crow is awesome. Great movie, great soundtrack, and the last movie Bruce Lee's son ever did. Sure, the rest of them aren't great, but he's Bruce fucking Lee's son, and this movie showed so much potential. Then they made a sequel. The Crow, City of Angels was written by David S. Goyer. He wrote a few good movies, and a lot of bad ones. The director, Tim Pope, mostly directed music videos, and he's no Hype Williams. So, did the sequel live up to the potential of the original? Let's take a look. The movie opens with the hero and his young son getting shot and thrown into a river, and a crow visiting a woman while she has a dream about what just happened. Then the woman meets a homeless girl that's supposed to remind you of the little girl from the first movie. This woman is the girl from the first movie, Sarah. We meet the main villain, Jubal Early, played by the same actor who played Jubal Early on Firefly, but that's just a coincidence. The bad guys are bad, see, because they deal drugs. What drugs? Who knows, just drugs! Anyway, it's always shown as the same black powder that can be snorted or injected. So yeah, bad guys, drugs, kill people, there you go. Sarah works as a tattoo artist, and a shitty one at that. There's an odd subplot where she was hired to make a tattoo of two demons, but instead drew a crow. That's a pretty big coincidence that this happened right before the crow returned. Ash Corvin wakes up to become the crow for this movie, and Sarah is there to greet and look puzzled. And then, okay. She later says that she felt him coming back. I guess Sarah is psychic now? I suppose that explains the tattoo thing. It's not a good explanation, but it is one nonetheless. Next we see the bad guy and his blind seer. And I'll stop for a second to explain why this movie stinks compared to the original. In The Crow, the only real magic in the movie was Eric Draven being undead and transferring memories. Sure, Top Dollar and his sister did mystic stuff, but it never really did anything. Like a teenager who draws pentagrams on their notebook in homeroom? Or some of those crazy women I've dated. Yeah, you're a witch, sure. I agree. Anyway, this blind chick has a scrying pool where she can see that Ash is coming for them. Why would she need a magic thingy that requires eyes? So Ash wakes up on Sarah's floor. I guess he was all tuckered out from raising from the dead and water walking. And I guess Sarah used her magic powers to change outfits for no reason. Ash freaks out when learning he's a revenant and runs back to his motorcycle shop where he does this thing with a picture. He has a flashback where we learn that he and his son were killed for witnessing a murder that was done in the open and in the street. Which leads me to a problem in this movie. There are no police anywhere. Did society collapse or something? People are killed, buildings blown up, men hung and whipped in the middle of the crowd, and no cops. Ever. So Sarah catches up with him and paints his face so he can start his revenge murder spree. And there is one of the many scenes that are shot like a music video. And for some reason, he puts on his jacket twice. Ash kills the first bad guy by blowing up a building using matches and the volatile chemicals inside. Then, did Ash do that? Was it the bird? Why did they do that? Maybe just to remind the viewers that they're in Los Angeles. This is in LA with no pedestrians or cars, but hey, palm trees? Now I have to pause to point out another running problem with this film. In the first Crow, Eric Draven would leave a crow symbol behind as a warning to the other bad guys, and it always made sense. He used one guy's blood to paint a wall, flammable liquid he had just used for another guy, and drew it in blood on another guy's chest. In this film, the crow symbol is magic too. This time, it's formed by broken glass. The burning building is found by Curve, played by Iggy Pop. Iggy Pop is a badass rocker and all, but he's a dreadful actor. Curve sees the glass crow on the ground and makes a connection to the messed up tattoo on his chest. He goes to Sarah's tattoo parlor, where Sarah again uses her magic powers to change clothes in between shots. He threatens them and then leaves. This upsets Sarah so much that she yells at the crow and then tries to kill it. Alright. Good thing she's a bad shot, and that there are no cops to go after people firing guns in parking lots. Well, Ash is off to kill the next bad guy who is at a peep show. Wow, this scene is uncomfortable. Well, the screen comes up and there's Ash. How'd he get in there? Did he teleport? And what happened to the stripper? Ash kills him and leaves another calling card. This time it's origami on really fancy paper. I hope the director's cut shows him actually folding this and gluing little fake diamonds. Then Ash hangs out with the homeless girl, whom he's never met, and does a magic trick. Much like a perfect sphere, this scene is completely pointless. Ash then fights Go, go, Power Rangers! Hey, it's the Yellow Power Ranger! You know what, I'll go ahead and say this. This fight is awesome. If I had to edit this movie down to just the good parts, it'd be about 5 minutes long, and this scene would be most of it.
Do you know how to fight?
Do you know how to die?
And then it's ruined by another magic crow symbol. We get an odd scene in an S&M club that's in fast motion. I guess due to Iggy being on drugs. Ash shows up and pulls a gun out of nowhere. I guess that's another superpower. They have a chase, but first Iggy knocks over a shopping cart for no reason, but it rights itself a second later, so never mind. Then he says this. Fuck you, bird dick! Maybe just because everything else is so awful, this is my favorite line of the film. They have a motorcycle chase that shows that Ash's indestructibility extends to his bike too.
Wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah, wrong accent too. Iggy's dead, and we get another magic crow symbol. This time out of Flores para los Muertos. We see that Judah has Sarah captured and says that the blind seer cut out her own eyes to stop the visions, but they only made the vision stronger. Okay, I hate to say this, but they should have used another character from The Crow. This should have been Micah. Her eyes were pecked out by the crow in the first film, and it would make sense that she would know what's going on. And we never actually saw her die, she just kind of fell. But I'll give them credit that they actually thought of something creative. The crow, the bird, not Ash, is caught by a silly trap. The bird in the first film was shot by a sniper. I buy that. But this tiny cage taking forever to fall from the ceiling is silly. Well, the bad guy has the bird and kills it, robbing Ash of his powers. Ash falls from Judah's building, and the actor portraying him did the stunt himself, which is admirable. Ash surviving the fall with only minor injuries with no superpowers is not. And then his dead kid shows up with a mask on. Now Judah is on the street beating Ash, and the crowd doesn't care. They're here celebrating Dia de los Muertos, since Halloween was already used in the first film. Judah drank the bird blood and became Super Shredder, so now he's invincible. And for some reason, roars like a lion.
I'm not a lion.
What?
I don't think of myself as a lion. You might as well, though. I have a mighty roar.
Ash summons a murder, and that murder flies through him and makes the bad man go away. Then he rides a motorcycle to heaven. The Crow, City of Angels. I don't have enough middle fingers to tell this movie to fuck off. What a shitty cash in on a good movie. The best part about The Crow was, despite coming from a graphic novel, it never felt like a superhero movie. I pointed out the logic problems and such for this movie, but I really don't think you can see how bad it is without actually watching it, which I don't recommend doing. In fact, this is the first film I've reviewed that I've had to take breaks in between while watching. I watched it in theaters when it first came out in '96, but now on DVD, it's somehow even worse. The Crow TV show wasn't that good either, but I'd rather watch all 22 episodes of that in a row than see this again. So what was wrong with it? Well, I can't complain about a first-time director, since everyone has a first time. But Clerks at least was entertaining in the dialogue, and the lead actor in this movie was good in Indochine, but in this, not so much. It just felt so cheap, and this may not make sense, but fake too. Sure, it's about a revenant getting revenge on his killers, but the prevalence of magic, plot holes, and the poor production values make it impossible to suspend disbelief. And the acting was subpar, which I'm using to be nice. Anyway, I'm Franco, and this is my own damn opinion.
Fuck you, bird dick!